What's up, everybody? Louis back here again, here to break down Vegas, UFC Vegas 29. Been going on for a while now. Last weekend, quick recap, UFC 263. I did awful. Basically, I picked the wrong underdog. I should have been more on Paul Craig. Anything over like plus 250, really got to think about it. I didn't think Paul Craig would be able to do it, but hindsight, yeah, it makes sense. Jamal Hill is good on his. He could have possibly been a top contender, but he wasn't yet. He was alive to get caught in a submission by Paul Craig. And I don't know, I just took a chance on Damian Maia, but, you know, he didn't have anything for a ball. And then I got Figueiredo Moreno wrong. I think Figueiredo, you know, despite what people say, I'm not saying he would have won, but I think the weight cut definitely played a part on Figueiredo. He looked terrible at the weigh-ins, and he just looked slow and didn't look himself. But it is what it is. It sucks. I had two terrible performances. I apologize, but, you know, I'm really hitting it hard this week. I'm doing my research, and I think there's some good underdog spots here. And let's get into this, because I'm going to win this week, baby. The main event of the prelims, about at 205 pounds. Men's light heavyweight, we got Alexa Kenmore taking on Nikolai Moreno. Alexa Kenmore, his last fight, he took on William Knight. The first round of that fight, he gets clinched to the fence and eats a uppercut in the tie clinch, but he's able to reverse the position on the fence, and he keeps that underhook tight, and he was able to win that position on the fence, I thought, for that round. He throws a jab, but misses, and then he eats a switch kick, and then he eats a flurry on the fence. Gets punched a couple times toward the end of the round. And in the second round, he's able to press forward, he's able to land a jab up against the fence, and then get the clinch. He gets a trip takedown to back control, but then he gets reversed, and William Knight ends up in full guard. He gets the feet in the front headlock position. He's able to pull off the arm from his neck, but then he gets clinched against the fence and gets taken down with the hip toss to back control, and then he eats ground and pound from the back. And then he gets back up. He's able to clinch, but then he gets tripped and taken down again into side control and eats some heavy ground and pound. And then William Knight's able to get around the back again and do some ground and pound from full mount from the back, basically, I guess you'd call it. And then in the third round, he's able to clinch to the fence, but then he gets taken down with the trip again. He reverses whenever Knight, he's too high on his back and he falls off. But then Knight, he's able to get up and he's able to take Kenmore down with a double leg again. So basically, you know, Kenmore is a scrappy, scrambly on the ground, but he just keeps getting taken down in the clinches, which is not good. But I like the control he showed in the first round. So, and then Nikolai, his last fight he took on Safarov. Apologize if I'm saying that wrong. I probably am, but you know. And in the first round, this was a couple years ago. Red flag number 1 for me, to be honest. In the first round, he eats a flurry and he gets clinched to the fence. He tries to pull the Kimura through, but he gets taken down into full guard. He attempts a leg lock, but it doesn't work. And Safarov actually loses a point for grabbing the fence, but it doesn't matter because he still wins. And then he's able to stuff the double leg on the fence, so he didn't get taken down at the end. And then in the second round, he eats multiple lunge jabs, standing at range. He gets rocked with the overhand right, and then he returns wild shots. Not too many of them land, and if they do, they don't land flush. And then he chases them down and lands a few overhand rights, but then he gets taken down from his forward momentum. He attempts a leg lock on the ground, but it doesn't work, and eats some heavy ground and pound, and Safarov is able to transition into full mount. And then in the third round, more the same. He gets hit with the right hook, and he gets taken down into full guard. And then Safarov transitions into half guard and just ground and pounds him the whole time, takes punishment. Nothing impressive. I don't like how he looked. That was 2 years ago. Alexa Kenmore, you know, he had some holes in his game. But, you know, he's in the fight the whole time. He needs to work on not constantly getting taken down in the clinch and you know, just trying to get out of that position more than stay in there. But, you know, he looked good enough for me. I know it's not the best competition, but, you know, he looked okay. Nikolai, you know, he didn't win his last fight, and he hadn't fought in a couple years. Alexa is minus 265. Nikolai is plus 200. That's a little high of a line, but considering everything that I saw in the layoff, I I don't think it's that terrible of a price. It's a little risky, but my pick here is Alexa Kenmore. In the main card, we got a fun scrap at welterweight, 170 pounds. We got Matt Brown taking on Diego Lima. Matt Brown took on fellow legend Carlos Condit his last fight. The first round of that fight, he's able to duck under and get the body lock takedown to full guard as Carlos is rushing forward, able to use forward momentum and ride the rest of the round out. In the second round, he crashes forward and lands a right elbow. He gets an underhook and uses knees to the body, but then he gets hit with a combination on the exit. He gets hit with hooks from Carlos while he's stalking, and then he gets taken down with a step behind foot sweep out of nowhere. It was pretty sweet. And then he eats some ground and pound to full guard for the rest of the round. Then in the third round, he lands a right hand and drops to a single leg, but then he gets his back taken from Carlos. However, Matt's able to reverse to position and get into full guard. But he eats an elbow on the feet, but he stops Carlos's double leg attempt, and he's able to land in full guard. So he's able to crash his hips forward and get on top of Carlos to end the fight. And then Diego Lima, his last fight, he took on Belal Muhammad. Quick note I have, his back is against the fence the whole fight. He liked to skirt on along the outside of the fence and try to counter Belal coming forward. It didn't really work out for him. He did land some nice leg kicks, though, throughout the fight. In the first round, he gets hit with the combination and a double attempt against the fence from Belal. He comes forward with the jab and then he'll back up. He gets hit with the body shot as he's circling. He lands a straight right as Belal comes forward. He gets hit with the jab and to the face and or the body. In the second round, he lands kicks as Belal moves forward. Basically more the same. And then in the third round, Belal shoots a double on the fence, and he's able to get around the back and land some punches from behind. He gets pressured to the fence, and he gets teed off on by Belal. He throws a right hook, but he misses big, and he gets a little sloppy toward the end. He shoots a desperate high single, but it doesn't work. He gets taken down with a double leg on the fence, and then gets his back taken to end the fight. And then the fight before that, he took on Luke Jumo. In the first round, he's able to land heavy calf kicks. In the second round, he catches a kick and gets full guard for a brief period of time. He lands leg kicks, then a left hook. Just you know, more the same for that fight. I just wanted to get a little bit more data because, you know, basically the whole thing happened last fight. Belal just pressed him up against the fence. But anyway, take a look at the betting line. Diego is minus 180 and Matt Brown is plus 140. And, you know, I didn't like what I saw to Diego. I know Belal's pretty tough, but, you know, he's backs up the whole time. He's timid, and he doesn't deal well with pressure. And Matt Brown, you know, he's a little slow, and he can gas out toward the end of the fight, but he delivers pressure. He'll be relentless on takedowns, I believe, or at least give it a good try. I think he'll be able to get Diego down. He's got to worry about the leg kicks, but I think he'll be okay eating those. For the plus money, I think it's a good value. My pick here is Matt Brown. On the main card, got a middleweight scrap, 185 pounds. We got Wellington Turman taking on Bruno Silva. Wellington, his last fight, he took on Andrew Sanchez. In the first fight of that round, he blitzes forward, and he gets clinched to the fence. He lands a jab and then slides back. He lands a counter overhand right. He lands a right cross, but he gets hit with the combination from Sanchez. He gets hit with the left cross as he's moving forward. He gets hit with the 1-2 from range and just standing there. And then he lunges forward and lands a right cross, and he gets rocked with the right cross as he's rushing in for a combination, and then he gets knocked out with the 1-2. Happened pretty fast. You know, not a good showing for him, but the fight before that, he took on Marcus Perez. In the first round, he gets a high single on the fence. It's stuffed, but he gets a standing back control. He presses forward and lands a right hook and a knee to the head. He lands a right cross whenever Perez moves forward. In the second round, he's able to crowd his spinning attack and lands a 1-2 up against the fence. He gets the clinch and body lock takedown on the fence, and then he's able to get back control. However, back on the feet, he gets rocked with a counter uppercut. He lands a flurry, however, with knees to the body up against the cage. In the third round, he lands forward blitz combination and then a 1-2 as Perez is moving forward. He gets standing back control on the fence out of the clinch, and then he drags him to the mat and gets his hooks in and lands some nice ground and pound. And then he transitions to full guard. He is able to avoid the triangle from Perez, and he gets side mount and lands heavy elbows, so he had a good showing toward the end of the fight. And then Bruno Silva, he hasn't fought in a while either, and it was an M1, I believe, so, you know, a little hard to find tape, but he took on Artem Flovov. In the first round, he blitzes forward and lands a combination with the knee to the body. He gets the blast double on the ropes instead of a cage. into full guard. He lands a flurry of body shots and a knee. He gets doubled. However, he gets doubled from the clinch and gives up standing back control. And then he gets body locked to the mat, and he's given back control, and he gets in the RNC position, but he's able to defend. In second round, he gets doubled up against the ropes to full guard, and then he gets into the RNC position again. However, back on the feet, he's able to land the combination. He's able to stuff the double leg this time, and then he gets his own takedown into full guard and lands some nice ground and pound. However, back on the feet, he gets hit with a body shot whenever his guard's up to his face. So his hands are up high and he gets hit down low. And in the third round, he's able to land a straight left to the body in a blitz. He lands a straight left in open space. He gets doubled against the ropes into full guard. He lands, however, back on the feet, he's able to land an uppercut in the front headlock position. He reverses the takedown and he gets into full guard and lands some nice ground and pound. However, he gets reversed and he tries to go for the guillotine, but he bails on it and just gets ridden out. And then in the fourth round, he lands a combination and front kicks. He's able to land a head kick, and then he blitzes forward with the 1-2, and he's able to reverse the double into half guard, and then he's able to just get some ground and pound TKO out of nowhere. He was losing, I believe, but he's able to finish off the fight strong. You look at the betting line, Silva's minus 125, Turman is plus 100. Not a big profit to be made here either way, but, you know, Silva hasn't fought in a couple years, and I didn't really like how he looked. And Wellington Turman, aside from the Sanchez fight, I thought, you know, Marcus Perez can be a tough guy. I thought he handled him well. Plus money. My pick here is Wellington. Fight on the main card, got a fun scrap at featherweight 145. Julian Erosa taking on Seungwoo Choi. Julian Erosa, the last fight, took on Nate Landwehr. In the first round, he's able to land a 1-2 in a close exchange. They're basically forehead to forehead, and then they get into a firefight. He gets dropped to the right hook, but he's able to blitz forward with a flurry of right hooks and uppercuts, and then he's able to get the knockout with the flying knee kind of out of nowhere. You know, firefight, he won 50-50. The fight before that, he took on Sean Woodson. He gets hit with the 1-2 in open space, and then he gets hit with a straight left standing at range. He lands steady leg kicks throughout. He gets hit with the combination as he's standing still and slipping his head. He lands a knee to the body and then hooks to the head, and then he lands an uppercut up against the fence. In the second round, he's able to clinch to the fence, and he lands an elbow and a right hand. However, he gets hit with the jab and combinations as he's stalking forward. He walks him down towards the fence and lands body shot in a flurry. They get into a firefight, but he gets hit with the jab while he's stalking. And then in the third round, his takedown attempt is stuffed, and he gets dropped with the left hook as he's rushing in. However, he stalks forward toward the fence, and they get into another firefight. He gets hit with the jab. He lands a jab, and he's able to get the double leg up against the fence. And then he's in the front headlock position, and he's able to get the submission with the Dariush choke. Woodson was fading, you know. Erosa was fading. Woodson was fading a little bit, and Erosa was able to outlast him and get the submission. So, you know, tough performance from him. Then Seungwoo Choi, his last fight, he took on Yusuf Zalal in the first round. He partially lands a head kick as Yusuf is circling. He gets hit with the jab. He lunges in and throws combos, but he's missing. And then Yusuf lands a jab and exits. He defends a double on the fence, but he gets clinched. He lands a front kick to the body, and then body shots in the clinch. And then the second round, he's able to get the single, but he gets clinched to the fence. He throws kicks, and then he lands a 1-2. He enters and then gets another clinch on the fence. He gets the takedown, but Yusuf is able to roll out of it. And then in the third round, he lands a right hook, and then he clinches up against the fence, and then Yusuf reverses the clinch and gets a double leg to top guillotine position, but Song is able to reverse and get into full guard. And then he gets taken down with the single leg, and then he gets taken down with the double, but he's able to get right back onto his feet, and he's able to get a clinch up against the fence. You know, I thought he looked pretty good. I saw Song looked pretty good against Yusuf. Yusuf had his moments, but I thought he was able to stalk him and, you know, delivered some heavy shots. Take a look at the betting line. Song is minus 150, and Julian Erosa is plus 120. Like I said, not too wide of a line here. I think Erosa, he needs guys to make mistakes, and I thought Choi looked tough throughout. And I think he'll be able to stalk forward and pressure him. -150 is not that bad of a line, so my pick here is Seungwoo Choi. About, we do have a really good banger at 135 men's bantamweight. Marlon Vera taking on Davey Grant. Marlon Vera, his last fight, he took on the legend Jose Aldo. In the first round, he's able to duck Jose's hooks and clinches to the fence with the body lock. He covers his head, but then he gets hit with the body shot because his hands are up high. And then he leans forward while his hands are covered and gets hit with another body shot. And then he gets hit with leg kicks, but then he lands a head kick on Aldo as Aldo comes in, but then he eats another leg kick for his troubles. And then in the second round, he gets jabbed at range, and he's hit with the right hook as he's moving forward. He lands a leg kick, and then he covers up and gets hit from Jose. And then he crashes in and covers his head, but then he gets hit to the body again. He eats knees to the body and head, and Jose's able to get the tie clinch, and then he lands a counter left hook. And then in the third round, he gets body locked, and he gets his back taken after throwing a punch, and then Aldo just gets his hooks in and gets the rear naked choke position, and Marlon can't do anything for the whole round basically. So it's a tough one for him, but I thought he looked good in the second round. And then David Grant, his last fight, he took on Jonathan Martinez. And then a quick note I have about David Grant, he was able to find his timing, and he landed a lot more in the second round as the fight went on. So he's a bit of a slow starter. It takes him a while to get going, but after he did, he looked really good, I thought. And then in the first round, he eats a lot of leg kicks as he's moving forward. He steps forward and throws big hooks, but he misses. And then he eats a jab, but he slides forward and lands 1-2 hooks, left and right hooks. And he lunges forward with a straight right and gets knocked down with a counter straight left, but he recovers. And then in the second round, he catches a kick and he rushes in and lands a right hook. And then he lands wild hooks as Martinez trying to circle out. And then he attempts a double leg, but it's stuffed. And then he feints and lands a right hook after Martinez throws his jab. And then Grant is able to land a right hook to the body and then a left hook to the head and get the knockout. Kind of out of nowhere. He looks really good. Take a look at the betting line. Grant's plus 180. Marlon Vera's minus 230. And here's the thing. If Grant, Vera's weakness is, I would say, grappling. And, if somebody gets his back, maybe he won't be able to get up. I haven't seen any evidence of that from Grant. I think Vera's going to be able to stick it to him in the first round. Second, third round, we'll see how heavy Grant is able to come on. But I think if Vera is able to stay outside, pick him apart with leg kicks, I think he'll be able to stay on the feet with Grant. If he stays on the feet with him, I think he beats him. Minus 230 is a little steep. And, I might eat my words because Grant might be the guy that pulls the big upset. But right now, I like Marlon Vera. Minus 230, a little pricey, but my pick's Marlon Vera. Come-in event, the big boys going at it, 265, men's heavyweight. Olynyk taking on Sergey Spivak. Could be a change in the guard here. Olynyk, his last fight, he took on Chris Daukaus. In the first round of that fight, he's able to get a clinch on the fence, and he attempts to pull guard, and then he gets it locked, his hands locked on a single, but he eats a lot of heavy ground and pound shots from there. And then back on the feet, he eats a straight right at range through his guard. He stalks forward and throws the overhand right, but it's blocked by Daukaus, and then he eats a counter right, and then a flurry while he's stalking forward, and then he just gets TKO'd from a flurry by Daukaus. Daukaus knocks people the hell out, and Olynyk's a little old, and I think that's what happened, and he wasn't able to do any of his tricks on the ground there. And then before that, Olynyk took on Derek Lewis. In the first round of that fight, he eats a straight right and gets clinched against the fence. He gets thrown to all fours and eats ground and pound from the back, and then Lewis is able to take half guard. He's able to get a standing single and reverse and get to the scarf hold attempts, and then so he's just basically like scarf hold is kind of like a side headlock for the rest of the round, then attempts Americano with a short time to go, but didn't get it, and you're not going to get that choke on big-ass Derek Lewis. And then you could see he was a little tired after the first round. And then in the second round, he's able to stalk forward, and he gets hit with a knee to the body, and then a straight right, and just gets TKO'd by Derek Lewis. Goes down pretty easy. So last two fights, he got knocked out. Not a good look in my opinion. And then Sergey Spivak, last fight, took on Jared Vandera. Vandera, just got that big win a couple weeks ago, so not the best competition, but not the worst. In the first round, he's able to land a jab as Jared moves forward. However, he eats a jab but lands a counter overhand right, and then he catches the leg kick and gets back control up against the fence. He gets a body lock trip to half guard, and then he lands some ground and pound from there. And then in the second round, he gets back control from a spinning back kick attempt, and then he's able to get into half guard. He lands heavy elbows and then just tees off on him from the back position, and he's able to get the TKO victory. Just unloads on him. Vander's face is a bloody mess. I thought Spivak looked good. The thing is, the only way I see Olynyk winning is if he's able to pull guard. I don't think Spivak's going to fall for that. I think Olynyk might have a little bit better striking on top, but I think Spivak might be able to take it to the ground and stay solid, stay out of submission attempts. Spivak's minus 225, Olynyk's plus 175. Olynyk's tricky if you put him in there with a low-level heavyweight. Spivak is in the highest level. I don't think he's low-level. Minus 225 sounds reasonable. My pick is Sergey Spivak. Main event, we got a certified banger, 145 men's featherweight. Ige taking on the Korean Zombie. Big possible total implications for this fight. Ige took on Gavin Tucker's last fight, got the quick knockout. He had a left jab and then threw a straight right as Tucker's moved into it, knocked him the fuck out. And then the fight before that, he took on Calvin Kattar. First round of that fight, he lunges forward and lands a right hook, and then he backs up and rushes forward with the left hook, and then he gets a jab and then a body shot, but it's countered with an uppercut. He attempts a blast double, but it's unsuccessful. He lands a counter straight right, and then he lands a body kick, but it's caught and he gets dumped on his back. And he back on the feet, he lands a straight right as Calvin rushes forward. Well, Calvin rushing to try to hit him with hooks, and then he gets hit with a flying knee in the flurry. And then the second round, he rushes with a body shot and hits him with the left hook and then exits. But then he gets hit with a counter right hook off of his own left hook. He rushes in with a body shot and then a left hook. He eats a right hook to the body and then a hook to the head. But he gets hit with a left jab as he's standing at range with Kattar. He gets hit with a counter uppercut and a right hook, but he's able to land a counter left hook on his exit out. On the third round, he lands calf kicks from the outside. He's able to land a counter 1-2 whenever Calvin throws a straight right, and then he's able to land a 1-2 to the body on Calvin. He comes forward and lands a straight right, but then he gets hit with the right hand in the blitz. And then in the fourth round, he shoots a blast double from space, but it gets stuffed. He gets pressed to the fence and eats a straight right whenever he's throwing his hooks, and then he eats a front kick while shooting his double leg. And then Calvin's able to feed his hips and then get on top and land some nice ground and pound. They don't stay there long though. Then he throws the inside leg kick and then a right hook. He eats a lead jab as he's throwing his hook. And then in the fifth round, he gets hit with the jabs and then a 1-2 down the middle. And then he gets hit with the right cross as he's entering to strike with Calvin. However, he lands a heavy left hook, but it gets blocked. And he lands a straight right, but it gets countered with hooks. And then he shoots a high single, but it gets defended, and then he gets clenched to the fence and hit with a body shot for the remainder of the round. And then Korean Zombie took on Brian Ortega's last fight. In the first round, he eats a lead right hook as he's entering to strike. He eats steady leg kicks, and then he eats a double jab, and then a straight right from Ortega. His kick is caught, and he gets dropped with the left cross, kind of off balance. And then he fires a right hook, but it gets blocked. And then in the second round, he's able to come forward and land a right hook and then uppercut up against the fence. And he counters the jab with a straight right, and he's able to defend Ortega's high single. However, he eats a jab at range. He slides forward and lands an uppercut through Ortega's guard, but he gets dropped with a spinning elbow whenever he's trying to throw his hook. And then he lands back on the feet. He lands an uppercut left hook in the firefight. However, he gets taken down with the high single after that. And then in the third round, he eats a jab as he's circling in. He eats a body kick, and he pressures forward and lands his own jab. However, he keeps eating jabs and straight punches as he's stalking forward. And then in the fourth round, he stalks and keeps eating straight shots, and then he gets taken down momentarily with the high single to the body lock, but he's able to keep the overhook and defend decently. Decent takedown defense, I would say. And then he stalks forward, and he's swinging hooks, but they're too short. And then in the fifth round, Ortega moves in and lands a 1-2. And then he gets hit with straight shots, and then he comes forward and lands heavy hooks on Ortega. But more of the same. Ortega's able to stay on the outside and piece him apart, basically. And then Korean Zombie would kind of rush in, and the puncher would be too short. Sometimes he'd land, but most of the time he wouldn't. And take a look at the betting line. Korean Zombie's plus 105, and Ige's minus 125. I think Ige is going to be able to stay on the outside like Ortega was. I think, the rounds could go back and forth, but I think Zombie's just going to load up and try to hit Ige. I don't think, I think Ige's going to be able to avoid it. Betting line's not too wide. I like, Danny Gay. He has a lot of momentum in his last fight. KOREANZOMBIE really hasn't fought since October, so my pick here is Danny Gay. Thank you, I appreciate it. I know I've had some losing weeks. It's gonna turn around this week. I can feel it. I did my research. I did the best I could. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I've had winning weeks before. I know I'm capable of it. Sometimes shit just sucks. It is what it is. But I appreciate your support. Please leave some comments. Let's have a discussion. Love talking about fighting. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Maybe I might have an announcement for a pick or something like that, or last minute pick. But anyway, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope to win everybody money. And, let's just enjoy some fights. And it's a great time to be an MMA fan.